Hey everybody. I just got back from watching Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. I thought for this episode of Dear Kevin I'd talk a little bit about it. Because A, it's the thing to talk about right now, it's what's going on in the world. B, it's got Ben Affleck in it, which is, crazy ties to Kevin Smith and the Buick universe. And C, Kevin Smith's gonna talk about it like incessantly anyway, big Batman fan, as am I. He was part of like a DC showcase on the WB a while back, so he's tied into it quite a bit. And yeah, excuse the rambling nature of the video. I've had like 7 hours sleep over the past 48 hours. Been up a long time. And like I said, I just got home from seeing the movie, and wow, is it a fucking mess. So I'm a little just bit discombobulated. So Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice. Fuck, where to begin? Let me talk about the shit I liked. First of all, it'll be in the title of the video too, but spoilers throughout. I'm gonna say it once right up front. Spoilers. If you don't want to know, don't watch. Watch it, come back. Watch the movie, then come back and watch this video. But spoilers, I'm gonna be giving away all the things. So, what did I like about the movie, first of all? It should only be like a handful of things, so let me get that out of the way up front. I like the scene at the beginning with Clark Kent and Lois Lane in the bathtub. It's still got this monochromatic, muted, fucking dark color to it, because Zack Snyder doesn't know how to, shoot a colorful, happy-looking movie. But that's the happiest scene in the movie. It's a scene where two people who love each other, who have been through something terrible, but are still together, have a little loving moment. And it's a little bit cute and a little bit sexy, and he got her flowers and all that good shit. That was nice. I enjoyed that one little scene of people just behaving like people without all the broody, sad, whine, ugliness of the rest of the movie. I liked the dual funeral at the end. Superman dies for 5 minutes of the movie. I liked the dual funeral. I liked that there was, a big military-style funeral, I guess in Metropolis, with, they're launching like a cannon and people have turned out and they've got this monument, and I thought that was cool, and I thought that it was really smart to intercut that with a much smaller funeral of the Clark Kent funeral, where the actual body is back in Kansas. I thought that was really cool. Well done, good story beat. Same thing with the funeral moment I liked is Lois Lane's at the grave by herself, and just in the background, like away over there, you see Bruce Wayne kind of standing by a tree. I like the fact that he's there and that he's alone, and he's not going to intrude on on Lois's grief. And I like the conversation between Bruce and Diana at the graveyard at the funeral, talking about, I failed him in life, but I won't fail him in death. Like, I can do better, and we should track down the other metahumans and start a Justice League. I like that scene a lot. Speaking of Ben Affleck as Batman and that scene, I like Ben Affleck. He's pretty good throughout. I liked his voice. I liked the way he did, like, the one moment he had a chance to do drunk Bruce Wayne, like the fake drunk Bruce Wayne. I enjoyed that. He looks fantastic. I love the workout montage. Pretty much everything with Ben Affleck I was fine with. The acting all around was pretty good. Henry Cavill as Superman did a good job, sold most of his moments pretty well. Amy Adams is great. Got nothing to do in this fucking movie. She's wandering around with nothing to do, but she does her best. Gal Gadot, I think's her name, is Wonder Woman, Diana Pryce. She's fantastic. I'm looking forward to her movie. And, what's his name? Lawrence Fishburne. Very good. Plus, I liked Harry Lennox and Holly Hunter as the new characters, the senator and the military CIA guy. So, cast is all good, with the exception of Jesse Eisenberg, who is amazing. No, he's awful, but like he's kind of my favorite thing in the movie, because boy, did he just say fuck it and play like a cartoon character. He's probably going to get a Razzie nomination, probably going to win a Razzie for Worst Actor. Wow, I don't know, he was in a different movie from everybody else, but at least he was having fun, so it was fun to watch. It's not a good performance, it's a mess, but I was enjoying watching him. Is there anything else I liked? Oh, I liked the scene where Batman beats ass in the warehouse at the end, trying to save Superman's mom. If you saw the trailer, like the last trailer, there's that sequence where Alfred's like, all right, Master Bruce, I guess I'll drop you off on the second floor, and, he beats everybody's ass and punches a guy in the face through the floor. All that good stuff. That was an excellent fight scene. I think he killed somebody in that scene, but it's quick. My issue with that scene is just like any other action movie nowadays, American action movie. It's all quick cuts, and you can't really tell what's going on, but there are some choice moments of Batman like actually fighting off 6 guys at once and not just kind of standing there being a puss. So I appreciated that. That was probably the best Batman action sequence we've seen ever, in terms of like what Batman would really be like, being able to fight off multiple villains at once. I think that's about it for what I liked. I mean, I liked Holly Hunter. I liked about the first 30 minutes or so. I enjoyed, I guess. It was really slow and all over the place, but fuck it, let's get into the shit why you're watching this. The stuff I fucking hated, the things that are really terrible in this movie. Right off the bat, we open up with Bruce Wayne's parents' murders. I didn't need it. I mean, I've seen it before. I was enjoying this particular take on it. The movie opens up, the opening credits are, you know, the murder of Thomas and Martha Wayne. I didn't need to see it again, but, you know, I guess it's important to kind of, you know, show that backstory. Plus, later on, when they tie in the fact that Superman and Batman's mothers both are named Martha, for some reason. I have to check the internet, maybe I'm wrong, but that's not true, right? They don't have the same name. Martha, their mothers are both named Martha? I don't think so. But anyway, I like that a little bit. You know, it's very comic booky, and they're pulling from, you know, the source material of like the pearls. It's really fucking brutal. The guy just shoots them, you know, shoots her in the face. Like point blank shoots, you know, Batman's mother in the face. Very brutal, unhappy little movie. Then the kid is like, he runs away from the funeral, and baby Bruce Wayne, you know, like 8-year-old Bruce Wayne, falls into the Batcave, and I'm like, okay, I've seen this before too. Then these bats start circling around him, and they levitate him up. Like he's in like a cyclone of bats, and they lift him up out of the cave. That made me laugh out loud, and I wasn't the only one. I saw this at Saturday, it's Easter weekend. Saw it at like 4 p.m. at a pretty big theater. Wasn't a packed house, I mean it was full, but it wasn't super packed. The audience was not digging this movie. Like the vibe in the room was not like energetic. People laughed a lot at a lot of uncomfortable bad moments. There was no cheering or applause, like when cool shit happened. And at the very end, when you see Lex Luthor in prison, like we're like minutes away from the end credits, people were laughing really loud at Jesse Eisenberg. So yeah, I'm not the only one who didn't like this, but the fact that they open the movie with a bunch of bats lifting child Bruce Wayne up out of a cave, I guess it's poetic. I don't know. And it's a dream. They explain it's a dream, but just, wow, that was a really cheesy image. That was fucking bad. From there forward, like, you know, I liked it in the trailer. The moment where Bruce Wayne is running through the debris, like into the debris. Everybody else is running away from the, you know, the terror and the destruction, and Bruce is running into the destruction. I like that moment. Then fucking the movie just kind of starts and never really stops. Like it's just a bunch of disconnected scenes. Nothing really flows for the most part. It's we're over here, we're over there, which you have to, because there's so many goddamn characters in this fucking thing. I have no idea if there's like a longer cut. It's already, you know, 2.5 hours. I don't know if there's like a 3-hour version of this movie that flows a little bit better. I can't imagine how. It's so fucking convoluted and weird. Not just all the characters with the story. So the movie opens for real in, like, after we get the flashback to Bruce Wayne's parents being killed, and the other flashback to, like, Metropolis being destroyed in the first, you know, Man of Steel. The movie really opens up in, like, the middle of a fucking desert somewhere, and, you know, Lois Lane is just there. And there's, like, a bullet that hits her book, and she saves the bullet, and that bullet was made by LexCorp, which means Lex Luthor's a bad guy, and the military guy knows this. Like, there's a CIA guy who knows that LexCorp made that bullet, but they haven't arrested him for some reason. And Superman shows up, and, like, people die even though he didn't do anything. He didn't kill any of those people. But that's apparently the first incident in the past 18 months in between the movies that somebody got killed while Superman was around. So that starts this, like, ball rolling downhill of, like, let's blame Superman. Kind of the Incredibles plot all over again. Like, Superman's story in this is kind of the Incredibles, you know. Who gave you the right and blah, blah, blah. It doesn't make much sense. They're just kind of floundering around, and then, you know, they say that Batman's been doing this for 20 years at this point. He's been trying to save Gotham for 20 years. A, he's doing a really shitty job because Gotham's still a mess. And B, Clark Kent doesn't know who he is or who Batman is at all. Doesn't know who Bruce or Batman is, which seems just wrong if he works in the newspaper world. He's like, hey, have you heard about this vigilante in Gotham? His boss, Perry White at the newspaper, is like, crime in Gotham. Next, water is wet. Like, you know, it's not big news, Clark. Where the fuck have you been? But it seems like Clark's storyline is kind of, I want to save these people, but I shouldn't. holy shit. And then, like, he leaves because big explosion, people die. Good scene, I guess. So Superman, like, flies away, and he's like, I'm gonna be all mopey and sad, because that's what Superman does. And he's, like, hanging out in the mountains with a hat on, and I'm like, why do you have a hat on? You're not cold. But okay, you're wearing a hat. And he's walking alone in these fucking icy mountains somewhere, and he sees a dude off in the distance. He's like, who is that guy? And then you get closer, and it's fucking Kevin Costner. Kevin Costner is in this movie, and he died in the last movie. And it's not a dream. Like, it's, you know, they have this conversation. Kevin Costner gives a monologue about something. It's kind of like a Silence of the Lambs type monologue about, Clark, when I was a kid, I saw these lambs being tortured or something. But instead of lambs, it's horses. Anyway, some stupid fucking monologue that's supposed to be thematically relevant. And he's moving rocks the whole time. Just, hello, I'm gonna put this rock over here. And talking, and then he just kind of poofs, you never see him again, and Clark's standing there by himself. I guess he hallucinated his dead dad. He tells Lois at one point, like, Superman doesn't exist, he's just a dream of a farmer back in Kansas, and I tried to live by my dad's lessons. Did Superman watch Man of Steel? Because his dad told him not to do his powers, told him to let those kids drown on the school bus. Like, Superman's birth father, Earth father, didn't want him to be Superman, so I don't know where where Clark got the idea that Kevin Costner wanted him to be Superman. Like, there's a lot of inconsistencies in this. I wouldn't say there's any plot holes in the movie, just plot, why is this happening? Lex Luthor's behind it all, he's the big villain throughout. So much so that, like, I guess Superman's kind of pissed at Batman because he thinks that Batman's acting above the law, and I guess that's, like, Batman is branding people in this. Like, he's really fucking pissed and angry, and Alfred's got this very cool line where he says, you know, there's a nice exchange with Jeremy Irons. I forgot to mention that, a thing I like. Jeremy Irons is fantastic. Everything with Batman and Alfred is lovely. There's a scene in the Batcave of sorts. They're like in some high-tech underground something. Not at Wayne Manor. And, you know, Alfred says to him, so you're branding people now? Like, isn't that a little extreme? Justice has gone a little bit hardcore. And Batman says, you know, we've always been criminals, Alfred. Nothing's changed. And Alfred says everything has changed, and, like, puts up a screen showing the destruction of Metropolis and clips of Superman. You know, a god has walked among us, and innocents are being killed, and destruction everywhere, and that's always the first step of how good men turn bad. Something like that. And, you know, that's kind of what Batman's forced to do. Affleck has got this really unfortunate, like, he's good, he's fine, I hope the next one's gonna be better, I hope they give him better stuff to do, because what he's playing in this movie is, like, post-traumatic stress and anger. Like, he's just fucking taking his Batman lore and going way too far with it, because he's really fucking pissed at Superman. When the final fight happens, which, by the way, takes, like, over 2 hours in this fucking movie for those two guys to even throw a punch at each other, Jesus Christ. When that fight finally happens, it's because Lex Luthor has kidnapped Clark Kent's mother and says, you've got an hour to bring me Batman's head, otherwise I'm gonna kill your mom. So go fight him. So Superman shows up and doesn't immediately say, Bruce, Lex Luthor's kidnapped my mother, please help me. He, you know, doesn't do that. Instead we get the, you know, we get the fight scene, which most of it is in the trailer. And Batman is just, I don't know why Batman is so fucking gung-ho about killing Superman, but, you know, he does, almost. He gets, you know, he uses kryptonite to fucking really fuck up Superman. It was an okay sequence, I guess. The action was alright. Didn't give a shit, but the action was alright. The problem with that sequence is they're buffoons. Like, they're both, like, Superman's acting on the rules of Lex Luthor, where he should have just told Lex to go fuck himself and saved his mom. He can save Lois Lane 3 times in this movie out of nowhere. Like, Lex pushes Lois Lane off of a skyscraper, and Superman, who the last time we saw was on the fucking mountain somewhere, just shows up and saves her before she hits the ground. If he can do that, he absolutely could go find his mother and save her in an hour. But instead, he goes to fucking fight Batman. And Batman's fighting because Lex has made a bunch of fucking accidents and explosions happen that implicate Superman. Like, essentially, it's that thing from The Watchmen where, you know, they're gonna blame it all on Dr. Manhattan. Literally nothing that happens in this movie that's Superman's fault is actually Superman's fault. Batman's just an idiot and believing the press, the bad press about Superman. So when the fight finally happens and it's at its end, Batman has all the time in the world to finally stab Superman with this fucking kryptonite spear he's made. And instead of doing that, which he shouldn't, because he shouldn't kill anyway, and also it's stupid, instead of doing that, he monologues. Batman is the bad guy for like an hour of this movie, and he's not even a good one. He's a really inept, stupid bad guy. Like, if you ever wanted to watch a Batman movie where Batman, like, brutally tortures people, brands people, kills all kinds of motherfuckers, and, like, literally gets his foe, like his villainous foe, Superman, he's standing on Superman's neck at one point, holding the spear. Instead of just stabbing the guy, he monologues for a while about the nature of humanity and how you were never a man. Oh, if you ever want to watch Batman give a villainous, stupid James Bond monologue, go watch Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. Holy shit. So fucking bad. Speaking of bad Batman stuff, I like the suit. I like the design of the car. I like the Batcave. I like the hints that they're giving that, like, maybe Joker killed one of the Robins. I love the relationship between Bruce and Alfred. I hate everything else they've done with Batman. There's a dream sequence. So the first time you see Batman do anything fucking cool Batman-like, takes like an hour, it seems like. There's so much other shit going on. And it's not real, it's a dream sequence. It's that thing in the trailer where he's wearing, like, desert gear Batman with a coat, and he's, you know, everything's kind of orange, and Superman rips his cowl off. That scene, that's the first time we see Batman in an action sequence. And it's a dream sequence. And I don't give a shit if it is a dream sequence or not. Batman fights people with a 9mm handgun, an M16, shoots people in the face, and literally cracks a guy's neck. Batman doesn't like guns, and Batman doesn't kill people. Wow, like we're not gonna... I mean, shit, Tim Burton made those mistakes back in the 80s and early 90s, but, like, that was the early 80s and early 90s, you can get away with it, and those were cartoony kind of movies compared to what we're doing now. Jesus Christ, this movie is so fucking depressing. Batman v Superman has got impalings, horrible explosions, lots of 9/11 imagery, children almost getting killed, children's parents dying. The whole thing is, like, tinged in black and gray. The color palette is depressing. There's rain, there's sadness, like, ugh. There's allusions to, like, child abuse and, like, parents beating their children. There's jars of piss sitting on the counter in the Senate somehow. It's a really negative movie, and if you're gonna have that kind of fucked up world, fine. But the one guy who should be above all that is Batman. He doesn't kill people, and I don't give a shit if it's a dream sequence or not. The first time we see Batman, your new Batman, Zack Snyder, the Ben Affleck Batman, the first time we see him do Batman shit, you directed the fuck out of it. It's this long shot, uncut, you know, kind of 360 going around. And Batman's taken out like 15 guys. And the choreography's good, and Affleck fucking looks fantastic in the suit, and he's doing lots of cool hand-to-hand moves. All good, except he shoots motherfuckers in the face, and then that shot ends with him literally cracking a guy's neck. Which, didn't you learn from Man of Steel that we don't like it when our superheroes break people's necks? Ugh. That was awful. Then he wakes up. Oh, I take it back, doesn't wake up. He kills the motherfucker, then he's still dreaming, and he's like chained up in a fucking desert somewhere. And Superman comes in and he's like, "You took her from me. She was my whole world." And then he puts his hand on Batman's chest and just pushes, and you get the implication that, you know, he pushed his heart through his chest, and Ben Affleck's like, "Ah!" And then he wakes up in his lab. And then, like, the air over here starts to get all electrically sparkly. And I think it might be the Flash. Some motherfucker pops through and he's like, "Bruce! Thing, you're right about him. Superman is evil and Lois Lane is the key. Wait, am I too early? Something about being too early and time travel-y stuff. Bye," and then Bruce wakes up again. So they do a dream within a dream. I don't know if it's foreshadowing, I don't know what the fuck. It's so convoluted and weird. Ugh. That sequence, by the way, in the trailer where Batman beats ass in the warehouse and punches a motherfucker in the face and his head goes through, the sequence I liked quite a bit. That sequence takes place way at the end, after Batman and Superman are already friends, and he's there to save Superman's mother. Okay. So why is he gonna save Superman's mother? Why doesn't Batman stab Superman with the fucking spear when he has the chance, right? Lois Lane shows up out of nowhere. I guess she tracked him down. There's lots of explosions. I guess she followed the explosions. And she's like, "No, please." And like, fucking Batman's got his boot on Superman's neck. And Superman's going, "You have to save Martha." Not my mom or her. You have to save Martha. Because Superman's mother's name is Martha. Batman's mother's name is also Martha. So Batman is just like, "What? Where did you hear that name?" And it flashes back to, like, we get to see her brains get blown out again. Jesus. And he's like, "What do you mean? Where do you know that name from? How do you know that name?" And Lois is like, "That's his mom. His mom's name is Martha." And Batman's like, "Oh shit. He's got a mom? I didn't think he had a mom. Well, fuck. I'm gonna go save your mom. And then Superman flies off to deal with Lex, and Batman goes to save Martha. I guess. Oh, then we get to the doomsday of it all. It is doomsday. They have that fucking line in the movie where Jesse Eisenberg creates this thing, and he says, "Here it is, Superman, this creation, you know, born of my blood. He is your doomsday." So, yeah, there you go, he's doomsday. I've never read The Death of Superman. I don't like Superman very much. Fuck Superman. But I have read a bit of that comic, and I'm pretty sure that Doomsday isn't a clone of Zod mixed with blood from Lex Luthor. That's what they do in the movie. That big fucking Ninja Turtle looking thing that we saw in the trailer, that's Doomsday, and he is the reanimated mutant corpse of Zod from the first movie mixed with the blood of Lex Luthor. Lex cuts his hand open and bleeds it into this thing. And as he does so, he's crying, and you think, oh, I guess his hand hurts, and he's a big pussy. And, you know, like I said, everything Jesse Eisenberg does is just very woohoo-wee over the top. Bah! So he cuts his hand, and he's like, ow, it really hurts. And I'm like, that kind of made me laugh. And then he touches Zod's face and goes, "You flew too close to the sun on wings of wax." I guess Lex Luthor loves Zod. I don't understand. At the end of the movie, when Lex is in prison, that's how he gets the bald head. They shave him because they put him in prison. Batman shows up, and he's got his fucking, like, bat signal branding iron on his fist, like brass knuckles, but it's like a glowing, red-hot bat symbol. Fucking battery died again. What was I talking about? I believe I was talking about the whole... Yeah, Lex is in prison, and Batman's got his whole branding iron, brass knuckles, bat symbol thing, so it's like red-hot. And he goes to, like, you know, punch really hard into fucking Lex Luthor's face and bald the fucking bat symbol into his head. Instead, he punches the wall and leaves the bat symbol, like, burned into the concrete, which I guess that's a thing that happens. But, it's interesting that they decided to go with an older Batman. I think that's a cool idea. It's something we haven't seen before. You don't have to deal with the origin story too much. The problem is, he's such a fucking dickhead in the movie, and he's so conflicted and confused and angry and makes so many wrong choices throughout the thing, including branding people. And by the end, he decides not to brand people anymore. It honestly would have been, I think, a more interesting and a stronger story if a younger Batman was inspired. Like, a younger, full of rage and anger Batman who's still dealing with his parents' death, and maybe he's only been at this for a few years, and Superman fucked his world up and he doesn't understand. If a younger, more confused, more, you know, green Batman encountered Superman, made the stupid choice to fight him, and then learned something from it, and therefore he got to become a better hero and a better man because of it, that could have been an interesting story. Instead, they didn't do that story. I don't know what the fucking story is. While the camera was broken, I looked up the names of the mothers. Apparently it's true, Martha Wayne and Martha Kent. That's the names. That's a big thing in this movie, is that they happen to share the same name. I don't know how I went my whole geek life without knowing that. Probably because I don't give a shit about Superman. I remember being in the theater when it was revealed, and I was like, wait a minute, I know Thomas and Martha Wayne. What the fuck are Superman's parents' name? It's Kent. Something Kent. And I just looked it up, I still don't know his fucking dad's name. Kevin Costner. That's his dad's name. So, obviously I didn't like the movie very much. I'm glad I saw it, because what a fucking train wreck. We'll see if it makes money. It wasn't a packed audience. I don't think we're going to get a lot of returns. I don't think we're going to get a lot of people rewatching the movie. I don't think it's going to have good word of mouth by any means, and I think I heard that it needs to make like $800 million, something fucking crazy, to even like earn a profit, because they spent so much on it with like the marketing and stuff. So I don't know. I mean, obviously Suicide Squad's still going to happen, and Justice League. Like, this movie is not going to fail hard enough to like cancel Warner Brothers' plans for more movies. I just hope the next one's better. I mean, I guess this is better than Man of Steel. Maybe not. Man of Steel is really boring. So therefore, that's the ultimate sin on movies, is it's kind of forgettable and lame. Dark Knight is not forgettable. Dark Knight. Batman v Superman is not forgettable. It's definitely, there are things to talk about, particularly if you're a geek. Which I guess leads me to my final thoughts on it. Like, most of the shit I've talked about is just me as a geek being pissy, you know. Batman shouldn't kill people. Batman shouldn't use a gun. How come there's machine guns on his fucking car and his plane, and he blows up like a bunch of vehicles and kills them, you know. all kinds of shit like that, nitpicky stuff, you know, Doomsday being the fucking mutant, Doomsday being the mutant afterbirth weirdness of Zod mixed with blood of Lex Luthor, that kind of shit. That's mostly just geek nitpicking. As a movie, its biggest sin is what I always like to refer to as Act 2 problems. And I give it credit, it does have like a 3-act structure, sort of. There's just so much going on that it's hard to kind of like lay it out neatly into 3 acts, but it does have kind of like, there's an introductory thing, there's a middle part, and then there's a big old climax that has like 4 climaxes to it. The problem is that middle section is deadly. Like, that's where the weird dream sequence happens that I mentioned before, where Batman like murders a bunch of people in the desert, and then somebody like teleports in from the future, but that's also a dream, maybe. What the fuck? That's in that middle section. Like, Lois goes to Washington, D.C. to like talk about this bullet she has. Like, that's in the middle of the movie. Fucking Superman going off to hang out in the mountains and talk to Ghost Dad. Middle of the movie. Like, nothing happens in the middle of the fucking movie. Which is a shame, because the first act I was like, you know, I was like, boy, this is all cut to hell, but it sort of moves like a comic book. Like, it's, the storytelling isn't good narrative movie telling, but it does have like a, there's this sequence, turn the page, this sequence, turn the page. There's some voiceover, which I appreciate when I'm watching a comic book movie, because it mirrors the, you know, the word balloon panels. The, you know, thought panels, the narration panels. So, the first act of it, like, I was kind of actually getting wrapped up in the story. Like, okay, sure, Lex Luthor's fucking, that performance is weird. Like, they introduced Lex Luthor doing a jump shot. Okay. But the story was kind of interesting. Like, the idea of Batman tracking down this something named, this character named, like, the, not the White Russian, because that'd be too alcohol-based. The White something. The White Ukrainian, the White something or other. Some fucking Lex Luthor name, which is also the name of a ship that's bringing kryptonite in. But I was kind of with it. I was like, there's a mystery plot going on. You're going to see Batman being a detective, not just punching people in the face. I mean, I wanted him to get in the suit, but still, we get to see a lot of Batman actually trying stuff out. There's a great moment where, you know, he actually discovers something in Lex Luthor's house, and Alfred says, no, before he discovers it, he clones a bad guy's phone so he can hack into it and get a bunch of information. And Alfred says, you know, Bruce Wayne got that information, not Batman. And, you know, there's some really interesting character stuff going on in that first act of the movie, and the whole character of, like, the senator who's against Superman, Holly Hunter's character from the trailer, she was interesting and compelling. She's got a really cool, creepy scene. Like, the only scene I liked, legitimately, with Jesse Eisenberg is the scene in his father's office, and even in that scene, he's fucking, he, and my dad in this creepy office, and blah, blah, blah. But it was still kind of a cool scene, the idea of, like, this very high-tech, powerful CEO talking to a senator who's denying him what he wants. And you see this facade of being like, I'm the young wonderkin billionaire. That cracks for the first time, and you see him get really fucking pissed at her. That all built really well to the point that, like, he eventually blows her up, along with a bunch of other people, and makes it look like Superman did it. That whole first act, the setup of, you know, everything was actually pretty cool. The introduction of the Batmobile, that scene fucking mystifies me. It's a really poorly cut chase scene. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. Batman kills a lot of people in cars. And it ends with Batman in the Batmobile rounding a corner. Like, the whole scene is him crashing through shit. And I'm like, why are they making the Batmobile crash through cars and boats and buildings and brick walls? Like, that's what it does. It can crash through stuff. Then I realized he rounds this corner and Superman's just standing there being like, what up? I'm Superman, bitch. And there's a close-up of Batman in the car of Ben Affleck's face, and he literally is just like, duh? Like, I don't know what that is. It's really, like, the whole audience laughed at that too. But he crashes into Superman, who doesn't even move. You know, it's like hitting a fucking telephone pole. So that's why they had the Batmobile crashing through everything else, so that when it hit Superman, they'd be like, oh, he's really strong, I guess. So, like I said, as a movie, it's convoluted, it's a mess. It's not the worst movie I've ever seen. It's not the worst superhero movie I've ever seen. It does have storylines that kind of, you know, lead to a conclusion. Like I said, not really plot holes, just plot, like, why? Like, why does Lex Luthor want Batman and Superman to fight? It's because he wants Superman dead, but, like, why involve... I mean, Batman steals kryptonite, so maybe that's why. He's like, he took my weapon, so I'll let Batman kill Superman. I guess, but, like, the whole reason why they're fighting didn't really have any weight to it or significance, and that's never good. And like I said, that middle act of the movie is so fucking deadly and boring and stupid and confusing. And my biggest nitpick, like, as a movie is, and it's the same thing that happened in that Star Trek Into Darkness movie, they kill Superman at the end, like, in a really gruesome fucking, you know, Doomsday, like, impales him with a bone, or bone wrist thing. And he dies, and I was like, okay, they're gonna bring him back. And for a while, they're like, they have a dual funeral thing. I was like, okay, they're gonna leave him in the ground, and everyone's gonna assume he's dead, including the audience, for those who don't know, or blah, blah, blah. Anyone stupid enough to think he's gonna be dead. So that in the next movie, they can resurrect him. And instead, the last shot of the movie is, like, on the coffin. There's some dirt. Like, the coffin's in the ground, and Lois threw a handful of dirt on it. So the coffin, the shot is down there in the coffin, in the grave, on the coffin. And you see the dirt, and the music's going, and swelling, and you know, the score's going. And, like, one little, like, chunk of dirt starts to levitate, so we know Superman's alive. I didn't know his powers included levitating dirt. Whatever. But anyway, I wish they'd left him dead for at least one movie. Like, come on, go back to Wrath of Khan. They left Spock dead for one movie. They brought him back fucking immediately, like 5 minutes into the third one. But, whatever. So, it's not a good movie. You know, if you don't really have any interest, don't go see it. If you hate superhero movies, absolutely don't go see it, because this is the one to avoid. Like, I like good movies regardless, but the superhero trend is getting a little bit played out. And if you hate the superhero movie thing, this is the one to avoid, and, you know, make a statement and say, fuck it, I don't want any more superhero movies like that. I want a good movie. The last thing I'll say is that fucking Wonder Woman's pretty cool. That actress is really good. I liked her Diana Prince. When she finally gets in the armor, it's stupid how she gets in the armor. Like, she's gonna haul ass. She's leaving the movie. She's leaving Gotham, Metropolis. She's on a plane, and, like, the climax is happening, so the news is showing, like, a report of, like, lightning and shit happening. Doomsday being born. And she just happens to see on the plane all the seat backs have monitors in them showing the news. She just happens to notice there's a news report, so she decides to stay. That's really bad writing. Like, if you want Wonder Woman, you want her to have, like, a big introductory moment, don't have it be this coincidence that she happened to see a news report on a fucking plane as she's leaving the city. That's stupid. But she was cool. I like the actress. I liked the way she looked. I think, like, people bitch about the armor and about how it's too revealing. Part of Wonder Woman's thing is that she's always been sexy, and honestly, like, she's an Amazonian, she's fucking Amazon. Like, to her, like, her skin is, like, Superman's, it's bulletproof and shit like that. So, like, to her, I don't think she's, you know, trying to be sexy. I know plenty of girls who wear comfortable, sexy-looking shit that aren't trying to be sexy. It's not their fault they have a nice body and they want to wear shorts. So, she was cool, the gauntlets were fucking cool. She uses the lasso of justice at one point. I didn't get to see her, like, pull it out and throw it around. Like, she just kind of holds Doomsday. And I was like, well, that's cool, but, like, I wanted the reveal of her, like, pulling it out and doing an Indiana Jones thing. So, fucking that was cool, and I like the fact that all three of them, Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, had to work together to defeat Doomsday. Like, Batman shoots him with this fucking, like, kryptonite, aerosolized poison gas. Wonder Woman's got him tied up and held back with the lasso. And Superman impales him with the kryptonite spear. So I liked that, but, and Wonder Woman's cool. Hopefully that movie will be fucking cool. But the movie's not very good. I lost my train of thought, my passion from when I started this video because the battery died and I had to take a half-hour break. And I was watching, you know, some Brad Jones, Brad Jones Cinema Snob is what I meant. Like I said, I've been up way too fucking long and I'm a little loopy. But anyway, those are my thoughts, and I'm going to make this a Dear Kevin episode, as I said at the beginning. So here you go, my Dear Kevin at the end here. Dear Kevin, for the love of God, dude. If you don't want to make a Batman movie, if you can't convince someone to let you make a Batman movie or a TV show or anything like that, please keep telling Batman stories in the comics. Cacophony, that 3-issue series you did that brought in Onomatopoeia, your villain, is fantastic. It's a really cool Joker story, it's a really cool Batman story, it's a lovely little 3-issue arc. The conversation you have between Batman and the Joker at the end of that arc is fantastic. And then, you asshole, the first 6 issues of The Widening Gyre, that is fucking great Batman stuff. You've got these lovely flashbacks, and you take the character to a new place emotionally where he's actually thinking maybe he wants to retire, and it didn't feel cheesy or lame. Like, if you've been doing something long enough, eventually you come to a place where, like, maybe I don't need to do this anymore. It was in that fucking, it was in the Mask of the Phantasm movie, where he's at the grave and he tells his dead parents, like, it just doesn't hurt so much anymore. Can I please stop being Batman? Please keep telling Batman stories, because fucking A, the movies they're actually making with the big bucks and the big stars are dog shit. Oh, that's so bad. And I can't wait to hear you talk about it. I'm sure you're going to defend it because the name of the show is Batman on Batman. It's got your boy in it. And they did a bunch of shit. We were like, holy shit, there's fucking parademons, I think that's what they're called. There's lots of fanboy stuff I'm sure you'll appreciate. But like, as a fan of Batman who ripped apart the fucking Tim Burton movies and the Schumacher movies, like, I'm just going to say it, Kev. This is maybe the worst Batman movie even worse than Batman and Robin. Because at least Batman and Robin is a cartoon, and it's lame, but it's consistently lame throughout. You know going in exactly what that movie is, and if you just want to get drunk and have fun with your friends and watch a shitty, fun Batman movie, it is what it is. This one is all over the map. So you can't even enjoy it as a bad movie, because sometimes it's good, and then you get distracted by Jesse Eisenberg doing his stupid shit. So, my point is, Kevin, fucking please keep telling Batman stories and try to talk your way into letting somebody make a... Try to talk your way into letting them let you make a Batman movie, because Jesus Christ, your stories are so good, your love for the character is so good, your knowledge is so deep, and this is fucking bad. And the critics agree with me, and I'm sure the audience will too. I mean, it'll make money, I guess, but I think it's pretty clear, like, it's not going to be Batman and Robin bad, but, like, it won't kill the franchise, it won't kill the character, but this is really fucking bad. You are a fantastic storyteller, you're a fantastic Batman storyteller. Please keep telling Batman stories, and release the second half of Widening Gyre. Fuck. That cliffhanger is so... I've been waiting like 3 years to know what the fuck happens after that splash page, you ass. So, that'll be that. Sincerely, George. Thank you for watching. I'm sure this is a fairly long video. Sorry again for the break in the middle. I'm going to try not to let that happen anymore. If it overheats, something I can do about that, but I'll try to make sure I keep an eye on the battery, because every time I have to edit the video, it feels really lame and amateurish. Which clearly, with my one light and half my face in shadow, I'm trying to avoid being amateurish. This is a professional video series about a dude who likes Kevin Smith. I'll see you next time. I know I'm late to the party on this. It's not going to go up till Monday, but I wanted to get my thoughts out there, and Civil War's coming up. That'll be a good movie, I hope. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow with episode 22, I guess is what it'll be. Where I don't know what I'm talking about yet. I haven't figured out what my next video is going to be about. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time, alright? TTFN.